here living the authentic life. We are here with Mely Cruz, all things Mely.
That's right.
And this fabulous woman, I guess we kind of knew each other a few years ago, but we really met and connected through Kelly Raybon.
Yes.
And girl, you have blown me away with your shared vulnerable journey of breast cancer and overcoming so many challenges, and yet have shown up in the most beautiful, light-filled, joyous way every time I've seen you. And it's truly inspiring for anyone who meets you and anyone who follows you, and we're so honored to have you today.
Thank you so much. I am so honored and excited. This is the first time I do anything like this, just like FYI. I know.
Really?
I've done it in Spanish. You do know this is not my first language.
I do know.
Yes.
And you're so articulate, and you have
you.
such a great use of words. Because a lot of people struggle with naming what they're feeling.
Yes.
And I think you've done so much work figuring out your emotions. You're such a great mom and wife and blogger, influencer. And then, I mean, I knew your hair and makeup was always fabulous. And then own a cosmetic line, literally chills right now. And own a business that you style hair and makeup. Like, it's just truly, and in 2 languages. Wow.
It's been a journey, girlfriend. It's been a long journey, but I am very grateful for each part of it. And I'm excited to tell you all about it. I'm excited.
Okay, I think the most incredible thing, I would say you're absolutely authentic. There's something, and you use the word vulnerable.
Yeah.
It's, is that a big part of your authenticity? Is that vulnerability?
It is. I feel that, well, I grew up in Monterrey, Mexico. Mm-hmm. So I feel culturally it's very different here from there. So in our culture, it's very much like your life is perfect. Like, you don't want to show your vulnerability because that makes you weak. Through life, I know. Through life, and I know it's changed. You know, people evolve, cultures evolve.
Yes.
But I feel that through life and through the challenges that I have been presented with, I've learned that being vulnerable actually makes me stronger. And I have found the most amazing people through my journey, through connecting, through just, you know, being transparent and sharing my life as it is. Because we all go through stuff, you know, we all go through hardships. So being vulnerable has helped me grow into the person I want to be. And this is where I am. Like, this is what it's happening right now. Like, this conversation, like in this moment in my life, this is my healing era. So it's hard to be vulnerable, but I push myself each time. Yeah.
And it's so much, it is work. It's work to show up every day.
Yeah.
For your 3 kids, because it didn't matter if you were just out of the hospital. They needed to be fed. They needed to go to school. They needed mama's love, and they're scared too. And then you have these 2 businesses, the cosmetics company, the makeup and hair company, and then your responsibility to show up as an influencer and a writer. How does, I mean, as women in general, we struggle with that balance. Like, was it such a clear purpose for you? Were there days it was hard to know what to do? Tell us a little bit about that, because I feel like as we grow, we still sometimes struggle with, we only have so much time.
Absolutely. And I feel that the hardest part for me when I was diagnosed, so I was diagnosed at the end of 2021 with stage 3 breast cancer. And it was very shocking because it does not run in the family. Nobody has ever had cancer in my family. My genetic test came back negative. So it was just, crazy. And at the moment, it's really the fear of not being there for your babies, like not watch them grow. But then during treatment was not being present. Because like, you don't know if, are these my last months? Am I going to make it? But I still want to be there for them. But also with time, I realized that living that rushed life and trying to balance all the things, right? Like I have two businesses. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a friend, and I'm trying to do all these things. Ultimately, your body does keep the score. So I felt my body telling me, stop. It's time to stop and rest. So I did show up. I still going through chemo, going through radiation, going through surgeries. I never missed a football game. I never missed, ballet for Kiara. I was there. But I also learned to find that balance to recover and rest and be more intentional with what I'm doing. Because I love what I do. I love my blogging. I love my makeup line. I love all these things, but I love me too. And that has been the learning journey for me. Like, it's okay to put myself first, to also take care of me. Because then I can take care of others better.
I always make that joke.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that saying, you've got to put the oxygen mask on on yourself first, because I feel like I always want to put it on Bella first, but then here I am not breathing. How can I help her?
Exactly.
And they watch what we do more than what we say.
Yes.
I was so proud of you on several different occasions. One, I was so proud of you that you showed up for your friend at Tootsie's for the breast cancer event, knowing you were going to in for treatment the next day, and you had something. Yeah, surgery. Thank you for correcting. Not treatment, surgery. But you showed up.
I had my exchange surgery the next morning. I had to be there at 5 a.m.
But then when we had podcasts scheduled, I was even more proud that you told me I can't do that this week, because it wasn't time sensitive. It wasn't something that had to happen. And you were confident enough that it was okay to do that. And sometimes I feel like as women, we're more concerned about how we would let someone down than taking care of ourselves. I struggle with that a lot.
Yeah, I feel we all do. We all do. As a former people pleaser, I struggle very much, because there is this thought that I need to show up for everybody. Everything is urgent, but what about my health? So thank you for saying that. I didn't, it means a lot that you reminded me of that. I know now when to say no.
It was even more impressive that you took care of yourself than you showing up. And I thought you showing up was beyond impressive. And I want to go back to, you dreamed up this life. And so many people are like, you're so lucky. And it makes my daughter so mad when people are like, you're so lucky, you're smart. And she's like, this isn't luck, this took work.
Exactly.
And you focused and you manifested, but girl, you hustled. You are beautiful, you are strong, but you had to be a model and to travel and do what you did was not simple. It was work. Tell us a little bit about the beginning that wasn't so glamorous, because the shots are glamorous.
Right. But the behind the scenes, it's a lot of work and it's crazy. Yeah. So I was born and raised in Monterrey, Mexico, and I started modeling when I was around 16 years old. I have a degree in international relations. I worked for the government of the state. Big deal. Awesome position. I hated it. I just knew it helped me create connections, which is something I love, and get experience. But I just always knew I wanted to be in the fashion and beauty industry. So I started modeling, and during the weekends, I started building my business in the hair and makeup artistry. And by 23 years old, I had 5 artists working for me, and we were traveling and doing runway. So I was working as a model, on the runway and also behind the scenes with my team. And I was hustling, girl. And I had a full, a 9 to 5. Well, actually Mexico, we do 7 to 7. You work all freaking day long. So I was a hustler. I had to start from the bottom up. then I get married, and things in Mexico just get really dangerous. It was around that time where it was just a lot of violence. And my husband, he's a lawyer, he got a job in the States, and literally we decided, let's do it.
Wow.
I had a newborn.
Did you leave your family behind?
Everything.
Wow.
We literally packed our bags.
And it is a culture shock. Even though there's a lot of people from Mexico here, it is a very different experience than what you grew up with.
Packed our bags, moved to the States, left everything behind. So it was a very lonely time in my life, I'm going to say, because I was a new mom. I was in this little apartment.
Isolating.
Yes, I had nobody here. I have a sister, but like she had her life going on. I left my friends behind. I left my modeling career, my business, everything to give my family a better future, a safer future. But I knew, you know what? If I made it then, I can make it now. It's going to take time, but I'll make it. And little by little, knocking on doors, and I started expanding my makeup and hair artistry business, and then I launched my makeup line. I went to New York to a New York Fashion Week, and I thought, you know what, this is the time. Started very little, and and then I had my second baby. We had a miscarriage in the middle, so all life struggles.
Yes.
And then finally being diagnosed with breast cancer. And I had started blogging back in Mexico actually many years ago, even before
it was a thing.
Yeah. When
because you had left writing.
Yes. I started actually writing when I got engaged with my now husband. And you know how those like wedding websites,
yes,
they used to be super popular. Well, I was just sharing my love story and our trips and just like everyday life. And it just kind of went viral because some wedding magazine published it. So that was the way before, how things went viral in actual magazines, like paper magazines. So that's how I started blogging, connecting with brands, started working with brands. Then now in the States, this is a new life. This is another language. This is new people.
You seem to think in English, or do you
most of the time? Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Now I do, but
just imagine,
Danae.
No,
just imagine trying to share your feelings in your language. Sometimes, what's the word? Like I want to make
and
sure.
there's not the same words.
Not trying a different language. Yeah.
There's not the same words. There's so many in Italian and in Spanish that aren't a word in English.
Exactly. So it's a struggle sometimes, but I manage.
Well, I think your eyes speak, and I think you're really clear about sharing your emotions with your face, and you're so passionate about things. And I want to go back to so many people that we talk to, young people that are starting out their careers. I think they want to kind of fast forward and just open the company that's the hair and makeup company, and just go start their line of makeup without being in the trenches, seeing how it works at a fashion show, seeing what the teams do, hiring the people and going slowly. And there is so much to doing the work and doing it slowly. What do you say to people that come to you and want to start their own lines? Are there certain recommendations you have? Because so many people have this, I want your life. How do I get it? And you're like, oh.
That is a great question. And this is where I am now, trying to find that balance, because I used to be that hustler. I used to be that go-getter, and it's fun and it's wonderful and I loved it, but it's also exhausting. So now I would say absolutely follow your dreams, absolutely go get what you want, but put yourself first. Like get your priorities in order, because sometimes I feel like we go in this how do you say that in English, like the hamster
wheel.
Yes.
You're just on the course and then you just keep going.
It's never ending. So now I have learned to truly trust God, trust the universe, be intentional with what I want, put it out there, work hard, but I'm not putting my health in the back burner and trying to get things for me. I set my intention, I manifest it, and I know the right people are going to come my way, the right connections, and the doors are going to be open for me. It's hard to explain, but I just have a different sense of peace. And of knowing that as long as I am on the right path and taking care of me, everything will fall into place. So take care of you. I would say work on you first, because you can be knocking on all the wrong doors and they're never going to open. And you're going to exhaust yourself.
And you're going to feel like heartache over the pain of letting people who aren't safe or who aren't like-minded or don't have the same intentions as you.
Exactly.
And that's what I've found with so many guests that I feel like are in a calming place, living their best life, struggling with still really difficult things. Yes. Just because you live your best life doesn't mean you don't struggle. Your best days are filled with the most struggles.
Absolutely.
But you have that reflection, and then you're able to identify what's most important. And I think part of it is that chase. And I found that there's certainly a lot that I wanted to do. And when I got it, I was like, yes, I'm so glad I did this. And then there's other things that I wanted to have an accolade or reach something. And when I got it, just didn't mean as much as I thought it was.
Like, and what's next? It's like you feel empty, because that's really not what we are created for.
Yes, and I think it goes back to something more than what we feel in any one moment. And don't get me wrong, a handbag, a great piece of jewelry, that lasts longer than a minute.
That we hustle for that. Absolutely.
We do. And we were talking about that before, is I do believe as women who work hard, and whether you're a stay-at-home mom supporting a family so your husband can bring money, we're all working hard as part of a family unit to do it, that we want to have the freedom to do the things that we want to do. But sometimes we have to make sacrifices. And I know I shared earlier, and I've shared a little bit with my daughter's health problems. Mm-hmm. I knew every day that I was coming to work committing to showing up and being my best self. But if anything happened with her, I was gone. So then I didn't struggle, because for a long time I struggled. What should I do? Should I go to this thing for her at school, or should I show up to this event? And once I clearly delineated what that balance was, I found life so much easier. And I found faith to do that for me. Is it something that, or you think about it daily? Do you have readings? Like, what is how do you do? Are you in yoga? Do you exercise? What are some of your go-tos?
I have become very into podcasts, growth podcast. I grew up in a Christian home. I have a relationship with God. I feel like just having my spiritual life connected, that has made a huge impact. So yes, this is my era where I am very much focused on growing in my spiritual life, doing all the things, meditating, praying, yoga, all of that. And that is right now at the priority, at the top of my list, where it was.
It's on the schedule, and we don't let that come off
day,
because we need to find that peace to keep going. And I love that I invited you to an event, and you said, I have a few girlfriends that are my inner circle. Can I invite them? I was like, yes. And I love when I meet strong women and then I get to meet their people. And that's such a big part. And you shared that group of people has really changed your life too. And I think some women struggle with finding that group. So maybe you can tell them a little bit about.
That has been huge for me. I feel that after, through this journey, I have become very protective of my circle. I have become, just very guarded, in a sense where I don't let everybody in anymore. And I'm an empath. So I love people. I love connecting. But I have learned that I don't have to be friends with everybody. It's okay to just have a few people who really know me, whom I really know, and who, you know, we're helping each other grow. And that's, you know, that's a hard part of survivorship of this stage where I am. Like, yes, you went through cancer and you survived and you're so grateful, but you're in this stage where you're finding yourself and where you're not tolerating crap anymore. And like, and some people knew and are accustomed to the past version, the unhealed version, the reactive maybe version of you, and you're not that person anymore. So now they don't, there's no place for that
strong. Because it's
relationship
not as,
anymore.
Right.
Yeah. And it's hard because you're letting go of people who you thought were going to be your people, right? But, you know, I feel that when you connect with your purpose and when you connect with God, the universe, whatever it is for anybody, then everything, all the pieces fall into place and the right people come to your life, and the people who do not belong in your life anymore, they don't. I have learned that people come into your life for a reason or a season. So they can be here for a period of time to help you through a certain situation, or they can be here to teach you something, to help you grow. And then it's okay to let them go. You know, they serve their purpose. It's hard.
It is hard.
Okay. So,
because we're very, and even though I'm not Italian per se, I feel like I have that Latin, like I'm a lover.
Sense.
Like, I feel passion. I feel passion for, but sometimes that goes in highs and lows and all of it. But so it is different to go through hard things with people following you. So let's talk about being an influencer, going through health challenges. And I'll start by saying there was a time where I couldn't share anything about Bella because it was too uncertain, and it was her story.
Right.
I think if it was my story, I could have shared it from the beginning, but it was her story to tell. And I wanted to wait till we knew more of how to tell it, because it was hard where everybody says, you should do this. Have you tried this doctor? Have you done that?
Everybody has an opinion.
So it is such a hard thing when you open things and then all the opinions flood. So share a little bit about that.
That was hard because I use my platform is my work. I love, and it's a hobby. I love what I do, and it's a hobby turned into a job. So drawing the line between I want to still be me, be transparent, and share as I've always shared. You know, some followers have followed since 2006. So like I was single, and then I got engaged, then I had a baby, then I moved to the States, then I launched my different businesses, then, you know, I went through a miscarriage. So like why am I not going to open my life through this horrible disease when I'm sure many others are going through this struggle as well? But it was hard to draw the line where, like, how much do I want to share? But at the end of the day, I knew I had the power. Like, I knew I could share as much as I felt comfortable. And I shared it all, and it felt good because it was almost like therapeutic for me. And I created really beautiful connections with my audience because they were like, thank you. I thought your life was perfect. I thought, you know, everything was going fine. And it's good it's refreshing to see real life. And also to see that you can go through the crappiest moments in your life without losing yourself.
Without falling apart.
And
still look beautiful. Still do your hair and makeup. Still show up in these. But I almost felt like that was my my outlet to finding joy. Sometimes when I say, Danette and I have this thing, we're going to dress our way out of a situation. There's mornings I walk in and Noreen's like, God, you look great today. I'm like, I'm dressing my way out of my mood.
Absolutely.
There is something to that.
There is absolutely something to that. And for me, as you know, as a makeup and hair artist, I love beauty. I feel that makeup goes way beyond like your looks. I feel that if I look good in the mirror, I feel good. There's something, you know?
Isn't it true?
So I never looked at myself as a sick person.
Right.
So I would say, I'm fine. I'm gluing my freaking lashes to my eyelid because I didn't have, I lost my lashes, remember? I lost my eyebrows and I was like,
penciling.
Yeah, and it's fine. I'm fine. I'm going to push through this. And I also allowed myself to feel like crap when I needed to and cry and stay in bed. So I learned that you can be both. It's okay. You can be both. You know, you can feel like crap and be angry and be sad and be depressed. And you can also feel good and go out. We would go out for brunch after each chemo, Danae, like with my girlfriends, and just cheers to life and keep living, you know? Beautiful. And they would be there when I wasn't feeling very well too. So yeah, I feel like it just helps you go through the hard stuff when you just do it in a more positive way. That at least that worked. That has worked for me. Yeah.
And I find that when people are accustomed to you being happy, when you're disappointed about something or sad, they don't really want you to stay there for long and they want to pull you out of it. Was that part of your journey?
Yes, absolutely. My friends were constantly checking in, like, what are you doing? Let's go out. Are you feeling better? You know, let's get out of bed. And honestly, like, sometimes I would be the one like, hey, why aren't we doing stuff? Like, yeah, like, why aren't we traveling and doing more fun stuff? Yeah, it just kept me going. I never stopped working through my treatment. No, I never stopped doing all the things because it kept me literally alive. It kept me looking forward to all the things I love and just staying focused, because it can be a very scary thing. You can't control, you don't know what's going to happen. You can't control the future. You don't know if you're going to make it, literally. Right? So at least I can control the little things. I can control. So I cold cap. I shared this with you. I didn't lose my hair because I wore a cold cap. So I could at least control that. You know, I could control being there for my babies. So the little things help me go through this journey, really.
And are there any things you want to share to other women in the journey who are maybe deciding if they want to have a single mastectomy, a double, if they want, how they move forward, what they do, kind of give them insight about chemo, radiation, all those planning ahead? Like, do you put things on the, I mean, I know it's individualistic, but
it is a very personal journey, and I feel every story is very different, but I would say make it your story. Like, don't let anybody try to tell you what to do or how to feel, you know, because there's going to be people are going to bombard you with ideas and opinions.
Did you try this, doctor? Did you try this holistic approach? You shouldn't be putting those toxins in your body.
Girl, don't listen to your heart. Listen to your spirit.
So many mixed in that's sending you, this is a new thing you could do. It's hard.
Yeah. For me, I followed other Pink Sisters. That's how we call each other in the community. Who have been through this journey and were steps ahead of me. And it was just so refreshing, and it was a blessing to watch them walk their journey with such grace. And like, so I would touch base with those close sisters who could really speak to me from their heart and from their actual experience. So it made sense. I'm not listening to the noise around me, but I am listening
people who
to
have
people
walked
who have
in your shoes.
Yes.
With similar, and everyone's journey is different, but with similar situations. I found that for my daughter being sick at 16, it's really hard because other kids can't relate to chronic pain or not being able to do what other kids do. And she's almost connected, they call it a trauma bond, with other kids who have been through trauma. and I think it used to be shameful to go through cancer, and people hid and didn't come out and didn't show themselves when they weren't as they wanted to be seen. And it's just so amazing that it's come where you can connect and meet people and go to support groups and different things. Although it was hard during COVID, I'm sure, with all the immune.
It was 2022 for me, so it was a little better. It was last year, girl. I'm just a year and a half.
Wow.
Cancer free. So it's very recent. Yeah, I just had my last surgery in February, so it's been a few months. Yeah.
Wow. So have you physically rung the bell?
Yes, I rang the chemo bell, and all of my friends and my family, they were there cheering for me. And then I rang the radiation bell. So I rang 2 bells, and it was just the best feeling ever. But you're so right. That was another reason that I decided to open my story, because I wanted to change the face of cancer. I wanted to change how people see cancer patients. You know, like I'm still living my life. I'm not gonna go hide. You know, I'm gonna keep living my life and keep showing up for the people I love, and I'm gonna beat this disease. And I did. So, you know, yeah, that's what I decided to do.
And how is it raising a daughter going through this? Is it something that you're going to have her tested? But as you said, you were tested, and I guess boys can even have.
Yes.
So are you testing your kids? How do you feel about that? Because we've talked about like even going in and having full body scans, and our doctor's perspective is it can look like you have cancer when you don't have cancer.
Yeah.
And some people, so now tell us about that.
Yeah, so you know how they say cancer is not painful? It was. Breast cancer, it was pain for me. There wasn't even a lump.
Wow.
Yes. It started with pain. I went to see my OBGYN. He did a physical exam. He said, I don't think you should worry about it. You're young. But okay, let's go get a mammogram. Came back abnormal, did the biopsy. Sure thing. It had spread to my lymph nodes and my chest wall. Crazy. So genetically, it's negative. I don't carry the BRCA gene, so I don't have to test my daughters.
Right.
But I have two daughters. I have come to this point in my life where I have realized that our emotions are so connected to our body.
Amen to
the
that.
body keeps the score. And I'm going to say this, it was so painful for me to finally accept that I was neglecting me. And that because of past struggles and unresolved issues, my body responded to it. You know, your body can only hold so much. And I felt really like my body gave up on me for a little while. You know, and it was telling me, listen, it's time to heal. So, absolutely, I want to test them. I want to take care of their body. But I want them to learn to take care of their soul and their emotions. And I want to give them the tools to navigate through life hardships. So that they can heal from the inside. And then your body is just a reflection of that.
It is.
Right? That's 100%. What I'm focusing on now. And it's hard because you have to dig deep. And nobody's willing to do that. But here I am. And that's exactly what I'm doing now. I want to teach them that. My daughters and my son. And my son. Because we live in a culture where like, boys don't do that.
That your son is dating your friend's daughter, and there was that.
sorta.
There was like a moment of that too, which I thought was so interesting. How you guys managed that between.
We're all good.
No, it was all good, and it was just a moment. But it is hard. I remember. So Bella has said that I can share, but she went through a trauma young. So I always wondered if her health problems were a result of the trauma. And we looked at she has dysautonomia, which is basically all of the same symptoms as long haul COVID. And it could have happened from a concussion. It could have just been something that came out in her later in life. It wasn't identified as what happened, but they said you treat it the same way. But sometimes I wonder if the trauma creates the pain and the body can't process it, so it comes out in other ways. And the most important thing I could say is to teach kids that their voice matters, and to teach them who they can share with and who they can trust, and to work through that. And I think it's been my greatest joy and my biggest joy in life to watch her come alive through her pain. And so I love that you are teaching people that, because it is all so interconnected.
Then this is what we're doing. This is what our generation is doing. We are breaking.
Yes, we are sharing
generational traumas. We are breaking bonds. We are changing the story now. And to connect with our body is not to bring guilt or shame, rather than create awareness and be more present with our emotions and know how they store in our bodies. That's a reality. That's
obviously
a reality.
I feel so much emotion about this girl, but it's good. And in fact, she called me. I was at the Forbes Women's Summit. She called me when I was on lunch break, and the school wasn't giving her accommodations for her medical condition. And she said she was going to keep fighting, and they allowed her teachers to give her extra time for a test. We had 5 letters from doctors. It was a long process. What matters the most is that she used her voice to advocate for herself. And that's what I said. We are coming together as women because men always felt they could.
Yeah.
And they felt that they could say, and we lived with so much vulnerability or shame or fear of repercussions or what it would put on our persona, that it changed how we could use our voice.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is what I tell my kids all the time. We all carry a backpack in life, and we can either put in rocks, which eventually become a heavy burden, or we can put in tools that are going to help us through life struggles. Because I can't assure them, they're not, they're obviously going to get their heart broken. Hopefully not, but like they might go through some disease. They might, you never know. So I want them to have the tools to navigate through those situations the best way possible, not letting their body internalize that and then reflects with like an illness or a mental condition. So yes,
or addictions, numbing. I feel like that's a big part of
numbing, avoiding, all of that, not wanting to deal with that, especially men. I feel that's something men struggle with. So I'm very focused with my son about that, and telling him, your feelings are valid. All of your feelings are welcome. Tears are welcome. That's a saying at home. Tears are welcome. Aww. So yeah, absolutely.
So I could come visit.
All the time, girl. You can come and cry. We can cry together.
I love 100%.
Yes.
So how will people find you? And do you have any things that you want to share that are coming up?
I do, yes. So people can find me on Instagram and Facebook, All Things Mely, and I also have a blog, allthingsmely.com/blog. And I have very exciting news. So I am launching my very own dress and shoes that I designed in collaboration with Dillard's. The Dillards, yes. I'm so excited. It's gonna launch next month for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It's a beautiful pink dress. It has butterflies. Butterflies have always had a special.
Yes, such symbolism.
Yes, meaning for
freedom
me.
and
That's what my
growth.
mom would tell me. She would draw like little butterflies in my notes, and she would say, you know, you're in your little cocoon, but one day you're going to become a beautiful butterfly and fly. And it has so much meaning, because through my journey, I felt like I was in a dark, horrible place, feeling so alone. You know, but then I knew there's a purpose, and, you know, I'm flying high and just, you know, connecting with other beautiful people. So it's coming out next month, the shoes and the dress, and it's going to be in all stores nationwide and online.
Wow.
And they're going to do a donation to the Pink Agenda to support breast cancer research. And that just makes me so happy.
God bless you. I love it.
Thank you.
Well, when you get the dress and the shoes, we'll come back. We'll do a fabulous giveaway.
Yes. Oh,
and we'll do it in honor of
absolutely.
breast cancer.
I would love
you.
that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, my
sweet
love.
friend.
Thank you. Love you.
Okay, guys, keep living authentically, keep crying, keep sharing, and keep your girlfriends close.
Always.
Okay, bye.